boys round here don't listen to the Beatles run. Old Bo Cephas threw a jukebox needle at the honky-tonk where their boots stomp all night. What? Yeah, and what they call work a digging in the dirt. Gotta get it in the ground before the rain come down to get paid, to get your girl and your four-wheel drive. Yeah, the boys round here drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot a back, a shoot a back, a shoot a back, a spit. Oh, heck. Well, the boys around here, they're keeping it country. Ain't a damn one know how to do the Dougie. No, I'm not in Kentucky, but these girls around here, yep, they still love me. Yeah, the girls around here, they all deserve a whistle. Shaking that sugar sweet as Dixie Crystal. They like that y'all and southern drawl and just can't help it 'cause they just keep falling for the boys around here. Drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, a shoot her back, a shoot her back, a spit.
Let's ride through the countryside. Let's ride down to the riverside.
Hey now girl, hop inside. Me and you gonna take a little ride to the river. Let's ride. That's right. Lay a blanket on the ground. Kissing in the crickets is the only sound. We out of town. Have you ever got down with her? Do you wanna get down with her? Girl, you gotta get down with the boys round here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, a shoot her back, a shoot her back. I'm one of them boys round here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, a shoot her back, a shoot her back, a spit.
Hello, welcome to the WINGIT call, September 26, 2016. This is a topic on soil restoration. Take a knee, please. Lord, thank you for bringing the people here to listen to what needs to be said, to bring your dirt back to where it should be, from all the chemicals and everything that is being pumped into our bodies, into the air and into the ground. We ask that you open our minds and open our hearts. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. So welcome, everybody. I see that Boss Lady is here. I had to mute your phone because you were unmuted. And Soil Dude is here. And if you want to ask a question, please *2 on your phones to raise your hand. And Soil Dude, if you'll make an announcement to our special guest there, you know, did he get the text that I told you? You're unmuted, but you're muted on your end. Hello, Soil Dude. There you go.
I'm here.
Can
you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
I think I pushed the wrong button. We thought we'd try to add a little diversity to this call. And with this group,
hold on. Okay. Nope, nobody's got their hand raised. That's why I was asking, maybe he needs to raise his hand if he's here.
Okay. Hopefully he heard that. He was instructed to star 2
Yeah.
to raise his hand.
Yeah, star 2 to raise your hand. And we're going to call him Rockstar? Is that what we...
I thought he was going to be the Iraq soil dude.
Oh, yeah, Iraq dude.
Yeah.
The soil dude from Iraq.
We thought the folks might enjoy hearing some things taking place over there, which he's fully aware of. He has staff that's working over there. He's been in touch on a regular basis with both the government and farmers over there. He's worked very hard for years. He is totally dedicated, as are we, to, like you say, restoring this soil, because we all firmly believe that when it was created by Yahweh, it was truly perfect. It was in balance. And due to our own demands on the soil, whether it be production or yield or content, we have created an imbalance which we need to merely address and bring it back into balance so that it can be alive and heal itself. One thing about it, I'm convinced, and I learn this every day, God created this earth with the ability to heal itself. He created us with the ability to heal ourselves if we connect to the right frequencies. Now, we learned...
Soil dude, I think you might need to call him, because I don't think he understands how to get in, because nobody's raised their hand yet.
I will leave that duty up to Boss Lady right now. So if she could do that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, because I think that that would be an interesting. And while we're kind of waiting there, not to interrupt the call, been hearing some things. You know, the RV hotline seems to be hot again, and looks like we're getting close. I'm just passing on what I hear without giving a lot away. Other than things seem to be a little more different this time around because we're closer to October 1st. So, and I didn't know if Art Meister wanted to kick in a little tidbit there or not.
I can, just a little. We're just waiting on numbers. They were supposed to come out at midnight last night. We were told they did not. We understand the UN finished their business 3:30 a.m. on all 209 countries and assumed they headed home. And after that, we assumed for sure things would be a go. Just heard a little bit ago that the Zem's going to be turned loose tomorrow. Now, whether they turn that loose ahead of the others, I suppose they could. If Mr. Abadi has not made a rate yet for Iraq or announced a rate, I suppose they could turn the Zem loose first. And that would make everybody extremely happy, since that's the big winner anyway. So that's about all I got, though. We're just waiting on the numbers so we can go somewhere and do something. That's about it.
Thanks, Art. Just a little tidbit for a few listeners that we have.
Yep.
So sorry about that, Soil Dude. Did you want a few other things you want to share?
Well, I just wanted to start with somewhat of an introduction. We have come to realize that virtually every element or every property in the soil operates at a specific frequency. You know, God spoke everything into existence. And what we've come to realize, that the things that are truly real are the things you can't see. Energy. It's in all of us. It's the life force in us. It's the life force in the soil. And we find that the elements we work with are merely conductors to transmit that energy. And when we achieve balance in that area, it sets up a whole organism. And that's the way we look at soil. That's the way we look at ourselves. And I just wanted to share that bit of information. And I don't know if Boss Lady has contacted Subi. Or
yeah, she's back in here. Boss Lady, did you get a hold of Iraq Dude?
He said I just got a text from him. He says he's in the middle of an important phone call directly from Iraq, which he had to take. He said that he'll be with us very shortly.
Okay.
Well, that's good news, Jerry. Maybe we'll get some optimism here.
Well, and one small little tidbit of house cleaning. You both do know that I'm under great scrutiny from everybody because I've been told that I am a scam artist. So, Boss Lady, I want to read something to you here.
Sounds good.
Oh, and welcome to all of Dinar Daly's little minions. Welcome. So I want to read this because this is some great advertising. They even put your link in there. It says, who is Advanced Soil Restoration and what do they have to do with the Iraqi dinar scam? We all know that Gary McGuire, founder of WINGIT, scammer extraordinaire, has been pumping dinar and zim and scam trust packages to unsuspecting dinarians. It looks like he's embarking on a new venture into the world of soil restoration. Gary is doing a call Monday with a gentleman who, by his own admission, works with Advanced Soil Restoration, with your link there, and it does work. And here's what I wanted Boss Lady to hear. I wonder what the owners of Advanced Soil Restoration are going to think about one of their affiliates promoting their company on a conference call hosted by a known scammer. So, Boss Lady, you're already out there and you're already getting free advertisement from some other people other than myself. I just want to share that with you. So if you had anything that you'd like to share, please.
Well, I would say since our mission for our business is to spread our products around the world for nutritional health and benefits for all God's people, it's kind of a great thing, actually. So thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. I think it's interesting that people lump groups into, different divisions of who does what and who does this and who's a scammer and who's not. And we don't even, my thing is I only have to answer to God. And after that, the right thing's going to happen. So I'm sorry you get information like that, but I think that I think it will benefit these people, even if they don't agree with what's going on, to check into our soil products.
Well, and you're kind of muffled there, Boss Lady. I'm not. Last time you were really clear. I don't know what has happened.
Is that better now?
Oh, much better, much better. My question is, what do you think the owners of soil restoration would have to say? Aren't you an owner? Aren't you the owner of soil restoration?
Yeah, well, my father, and he has some partners, and yes, I'm a partner as well. So I am part owner, and I'm happy that I've had so many inquiries into our product and just some incredible people looking to the future, wanting to do better things, for the betterment of people. So I'm happy that you're allowing us to be on here and actually, be able to share our product, which we believe is, a great product. So that's my answer as an owner.
It's my pleasure. Things don't happen by chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? Until the gentleman he hasn't called in yet. Let's go ahead and take a caller here, and if you two can do the callers, I'm going to have to step out for about 2 minutes. Atlanta. Come on down, 770.
Hello,
Atlanta?
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can
Go
you hear
ahead.
me?
You, Atlanta?
Yes, I was interested in this product of putting food plots and all in. You was talking about the other day on there that you can decrease the amount of fertilizer you have to use. What about the lime and the nitrogen and all you have to use? Can you decrease a lot of that?
Well, quite honestly, with lime, generally when your soil reaches an acidic state, lime is prescribed. It's a mineral, and to adjust the soil pH. One thing you'll find with our product, it will take acidic soil and bring it to neutral. It'll take alkaline soil and it'll bring it down to neutral. So that lime adjustment should not be necessary. In our opinion, it complicates the chemistry we are trying to establish in the soil, that of true balance. And quite honestly, traditional farming uses amendments, bulk amendments like that, in a costly way, because you're talking about possibly tonnage per acre that needs to be applied and tilled in to accomplish what they're seeking to accomplish. From our perspective, you're merely just disturbing the whole ecosystem that we've established, subsurface in the soil. And it is true, we recommend highly that with ammonia nitrogen, and that's generally the nitrogen form that's used to supplement crops for production, we recommend that it be reduced by 60%. Now, that in itself should be a savings because it's a hydrocarbon-based byproduct. It in itself, in order to fully break down that nitrogen in the environment, it takes 3 years for the existing denitrifying bacteria to fully break it down to nitrate to where the plants can actually metabolize the nitrogen. So we're in a constant process of overloading the soil with nitrogen. Does that answer your question?
Sounds like I could have a pretty good savings in just using this product and cut back on all the fertilizer and stuff that I would have to use. This product will save me a good bit of money on it.
That's what our customers recognize.
Do y'all actually advertise this product much in the agricultural belts? Like I'm in Georgia, and there's a lot of agriculture around, and it would just be a tremendous savings just to the farmers to be using this product and cut back on the nitrogen and the fertilizer and the lime like you're talking about. It would be one heck of a savings for them.
Well, we really, most of the advertising budgets are so extensive in relation to the commercial fertilizer companies because they're working to keep established this bulk nature of supplementation. And quite honestly, they'll compete with each other and charge $10 less per ton just to get the trucking costs out. Mm-hmm. It's all about the money, and they invest huge dollars to invest. Quite honestly, we've found that our message is best spread through personal experience. I'll guarantee you, if you use this product, the product will demonstrate its benefit to you. We have a product that sells itself. So we find much more benefit in word of mouth, actually people that use the product and adopt the product as their own tool.
Yeah, it looked like it would be a beneficial, to you to just more or less maybe say give a product to a couple of the farmers and let them use it and see the benefits of it and start telling other farmers about it. And it would really increase your business, I would believe, because with that product, it would just be a drastic savings for just the fertilizer bill alone. It would also really recondition the soil and all with all the pre-emergent and all they have to use.
Well, and you have to consider every time you go over over that field with equipment and machinery. When you really analyze the cost of operating that equipment right down to maintenance and fuel and labor costs, that's where a lot of your cost is. And I had one of our long-term customers, he balanced his soil in 2000. And now he just merely buys a little bit every year as he applies herbicides or insecticides. He will apply those, let them do their job, then he reapplies, just top dresses, that particular field with product to remove that chemical. And he's maintained that position since 2000. And he told me he has been able to save 40% of his overall farming costs by implementing this product.
Yep, sounds to me like it would be a big savings. It really would. Yep, that's astronomical when you're talking about the cost of all that stuff.
You're correct.
Well, I sure appreciate your info and sound like you got a fantabulous product there.
We believe in it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Naperville, come on down. Naperville, Illinois.
Is that 630?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes. Hello. Great call. I really appreciate it. It's great information. It sounds like a great company that we need. I have several questions. So what form is the product in? Is it a liquid or granular?
It's a liquid. It's a concentrated liquid biological soil amendment. Very concentrated.
And then what is the dilution rate then?
It depends on what equipment you might have to apply and the scope of your project. I mean, you can apply with something as simple as a pump sprayer. But we do recommend that you add water as a carrier due to the fact that it's so concentrated, because we like to encourage uniform coverage wherever you're treating it.
And so then what is our rate that we, or for instance, how many barrels or gallons per acre are we talking?
Well, to give you an idea, we have actually recommended aerial application in some cases using 10 gallons of water per pint of product per acre application rate.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then what's the cost for per acre then if you're using that rate?
At that rate, we have a round figure of $30 per acre for the treatment. Now, naturally, whatever equipment you use, you have that additional cost. So in some cases, if it were me, because I would be dealing in a farm environment, I'd be dealing with the production capability of an acre of producing ground. You know, and my main intent would be to get more than adequate application. So I personally, if I went to the expense of having the equipment out there and paying the labor to do it, I would probably, just me, I would probably double it to ensure. You cannot overdose with the product. It's just 16 ounces is more than adequate. We do recommend 2 annual treatments to fully balance the soil.
Yeah, that was my next question. So you're saying a spring and fall application?
Well, that works well. A fall and spring, you know, it is good to apply in the fall to allow, because as this product grows in the soil, it actually generates heat. So it will grow. It's surprising how low the temperature can be, and subsurface in the soil, that product is still growing. And that makes a very good initial application. So if you want to bump it up a little bit, like figure a quart, you might put a pint on in the fall and a pint in the spring, then follow up the next year in the spring with another pint.
I see. Okay.
Now,
So,
that would increase your overall cost per acre to $90 for the product, but from my experience, when you're talking about a yield on a crop and production, it's a very good investment.
Oh, yes. It sounds like it. Can you just go over with us all on the call how this can either neutralize or, remove the deleterious effects of the glyphosate?
Okay, are you ready? We're going to have to go a little deeper here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The bacteria we use generates energy. Now, that energy has an anionic charge. Are you familiar with cationic charge and anionic charge?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Most of the chemicals you put on are positively charged, or cations. That's what allows them to time release in the soil.
Mm-hmm.
When that product comes in contact with the anionic energy produced by the bacteria, it causes that bonded element in the formula to repel and separate. So it actually breaks apart the molecular bond of the cationic toxic chemical. Then
so
it can biodegrade.
So it's like a reverse osmosis type of...
It's similar to like poles on a magnet. You know how they repel?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When exposed to that form of energy, because in order to scale out minerals in the soil, it needs to have a high cationic charge. That's what promotes the scaling out of nutrients. For example, phosphorus.
Mm-hmm.
And then it remains unavailable to the plant.
Mm-hmm.
I have a
and
question.
Insoluble. Sure.
And because I'm sure this will take up a few questions out. So what does it do to Roundup after you've sprayed it on your ground for a while? And we know that Roundup lingers around. How does this affect Roundup? Specifically, what is it?
Does the same thing. It breaks it apart. That's a cation, positively charged toxin. Toxicity generally has to do with its relationship to oxygen. If we ingest toxins, they are actually robbing our body of dissolved oxygen, O2 oxygen. Now, the oxygen that we deliver in our product is O1 oxygen, and that more readily satisfies the oxygen demand of toxic elements, so it neutralizes them, again, in a negative charge. So it neutralizes them in two ways.
Thank you. Sir, do you have any more questions out there in Naperville?
No, this is a great product, and I hope the word spreads. Jerry, you're doing a great job. This is a great service to everybody. Thank you.
Do you follow me on Twitter?
No, I don't. I listen to your call live sometimes, and a lot of times I can't do that, so I listen to it on the replay. But I don't. I have a Twitter account, but I don't listen or follow you. No. How do you do that?
Well, I guess well, you can actually, if you've got a smartphone. Do you have a smartphone?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You put up there where the person's name is. Just type in. Actually, if you go to my webpage, thewingitcall.com, and if you scroll down just a little bit, it will give you directions on how to follow me on Twitter, and you don't even have to have a Twitter account to follow me. And also at thewingitcall.com, I'll also put the replay link up there.
Great.
Jerry, following that explanation, could I interject a few more thoughts?
Sure.
I just briefly explained the fact that we promote the establishment of free oxygen or single O oxygen Actually, the charge the bacteria produces causes O2 oxygen to actually separate also. And it forms O1 oxygen. Now, that oxygen is antiseptic. It's the same oxygen that's in hydrogen peroxide or chlorine dioxide, but it doesn't carry the bonded elements. It's just merely antiseptic oxygen. So that gives us hope in the future once we can get in a controlled environment and situation and control the chemistry. We look forward to being able to document the capability of producing pathogen-free crops. That single O oxygen presence makes the soil inhospitable for the growth of pathogens, meaning E. coli, salmonella, and the like. I just want to
here's and star 2 to raise your hand, please, if you want to ask a question before we get to the next caller. Since it's an organic product, what happens if some gets spilled on the ground, or after you've sprayed it out there or something, and a dog comes by or a cat and they drink it? What's going to happen to them?
They'll love it. It's funny because when we treat pastures, for example, and cattle are grazing on the pasture, if we were to treat half the pasture, you would find the cattle would primarily eat on that half of the treated pasture.
Right after you sprayed it, Can
I read a testimonial from one of our customers? I find it kind of interesting. Can I do that?
Go ahead, boss lady. Yeah, boss lady.
Okay. After treating half my pasture with organic digester in the fall of 2012, I noticed a few months later the cattle were crossing the belly-high grass on the untreated part of the pasture to get to the pond. They then returned to the treated portion to continue grazing on the treated grass, which by then was down to the nubs, without stopping to eat the high untreated grass while passing through to get back to the treated side. And that was from Illinois.
Well,
and we've heard this a lot of times, yeah. So even in New Zealand that happened. Yeah.
But my question is, if you spill some and they come by and they lap at the water because there might be a little puddle or something like that, it's not going to hurt the animals, is it?
Oh no. No way.
No, not at all. Yeah.
There you go. All right, so Orlando, come on down.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Jerry?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Soil dude. I'm gonna start whenever this RV kicks off. I'm buying 300 acres, and I've got it kind of eyed out. So if I was to take it, I'm gonna have to strip the land first because it's got a lot of growth where I want to put the pasture because it lays down in a valley along a creek bed. Is it going to hurt that? And apparently it's not going to even hurt the water from what I've been understanding, but I'm trying to clear off maybe 40 acres. So that would be more cost effective for me to go ahead and treat even the pasture where the cattle are even going to be grazing. Just to put down a coating maybe once a year, maybe even twice a year, like you said, like you were saying.
Yeah, I think you will find that if you can achieve the balance, you'll have long-term benefit. You will continue to see growth. And one thing about this product, if you're grazing cattle, in order to maintain during stress points, they require carbohydrates. Yes. They require carbohydrates, which are sugars. Yes. In every case, when we do forage studies, like on silage or anything, we notice a great retention of dry matter in the silage, and we consistently see 2 to 2.5, even 3 times the level of sugars over a control. We personally are so impressed by that, we are dedicated to putting together what we would consider to be a proper grass-fed beef program, because we feel that our forage has the ability to complement the grading capability of the carcass, which is additional fat production.
Because my main source of food for the cattle is going to be millet, organic millet.
Sure.
Yeah, and you know what I'm talking about, because it's got the acylocytic
sure
foods
do.
in it that's been taken out of our diet, and I'm going to feed mainly millet, and it'll be organic. And my big concern is, with Monsanto and how they want to buy up people's land and around people's land and get their stuff to cross-pollinate. Will that also help keep their weeds out of my weeds or out of my plants?
That's going to be a challenge.
Okay, because I know there's going to be cross-pollination. I know there's going to be. There's no doubt in my mind. But my thing is, I'm going to try to go as 100% organic as I can for my because I'm going to raise Charolais. I'm going to raise Charolais beef cattle. Yes,
sure.
That's what I grew up doing, and that's what I want to do. And like I said, I just found out about this acylocytic foods, and that's what I want to do. And I want to make sure that if I'd even want them to pasture, or even keep them out of the hay field, I could even spray down, just put them out in another area and just spray it down, like you said, once in the spring and once in the fall. And let them eat over there. That way they're not attracted to the millet.
Now, I would just really recommend that double treatment when you're introducing the product, the first year.
Okay.
To help it get established. The second year,
exactly.
I merely just use it in the spring. But then after that, as long as you're not using toxic chemicals, I wouldn't worry about treating again. You could go with that balancing process for up to 15 years. We've followed the progress on it.
Wow, and all I got to worry about maybe just replanting, and that'd be about it. I don't have to worry about putting any type of pesticides or anything down, because I'm not really growing a crop. I'm growing hay. I'm growing hay. I'm not really, it's for the cattle.
Sure. I think you're grasping how to use it that way. Yeah, sure.
Well, that's good. That's going to save a lot. And then if I go with 40 acres, like you said, you're even talking, $90 an acre. That's dropping a buck compared to hauling in the lime and the sulfur and the phosphate and the worms. Because we even growing up, we'd even haul in worms to help break it down, and the worms were just leaving, and I couldn't figure out why. Now I understand why. It's because it was too acidic or too base. There was no happy medium for the soil.
And with traditional farming, you're constantly treating symptoms. You're never getting to the base element that causes the balance and maintains the balance.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do if this RV goes. I'm definitely going to put some money into your product. That's for sure. I'm going to invest in your company as well. There's no doubt about it. Because like I said, this is growing up on a farm and trying to do things the organic way as far as putting the nutrients back into our food supply. This was definitely a start. It's got to go from the grass up, and that's no joke.
Well,
it's got to start somewhere.
If you are accustomed to livestock management, that managing livestock, most of us grew up when it was called animal husbandry.
Yes.
To me, that typifies observational skills and concern for the animal. You look for minute differences, and then you build on those related to health of the animal and care of the animal. Anymore, we call it animal science. That means people can separate themselves from the project and manage the operation from an office, and merely
I want people to come on
and
prescribe
what needs to be done.
Exactly, and that's what I want my customers to do. If they want to buy cattle, they can come pick out the cattle they want, and I'll take care of it for them. If they want to come and buy their beef right off my farm, come pick you out a cattle, come pick you out a steer, and I'll take care of it for you. I'll butcher it up for you. If that's what you want to do. You'll come right straight off the farm.
Because you are the one that has the depth of conviction to treat that animal properly.
Absolutely. I'm not going to mistreat them or anything. When I bet they'll be, the steers will be taken care of, just like it should be. Just like it should be from the ground up. Absolutely. Because like I said,
if you're not new,
like I said, this is where it's got to start, sir. And I'm definitely going to invest in your company. I'm definitely wanting your product. Post RV, seriously. I'm going to, like I said, I'm trying to get 400 acres. Yes, sir.
We welcome all comers. We really do want to make a difference and heal this earth.
Well, this will definitely be a start on my end. That's a promise. I thank you for your time too, boss lady. Thank you, and then thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Soul Man.
Thank you for your interest.
Thank
you.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Well, star 2 to raise your hand to ask a question. Windy City. Oop. They hung up. There they are. Windy City, come on down. That's you. Windy City. Area code 312. Chicago. Oh, hold on. Let me unmute you. There you go. Chicago, come on down. You're
Okay.
unmuted.
You hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is the contact information for the solar product on your website?
No, not yet. I haven't got it there yet. I'll put a link up here later on today.
Okay. I will wait for that then.
But it's advancedsoilrestoration.com.
All right. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I've been neglectful in my due diligence about adding that link. I am, well,
Actually,
I guess.
Jerry, can I add something?
Sure.
Oh, well, I know if you Google it and say, advanced soil restoration, it comes up and it gives you a VIP option, which would sign you up for the newsletter, which is great. But if you actually want to contact us, you would want to put in www.advancedsoilrestoration.com, and it comes up to the complete website.
Cool. Have you heard back from Iraq dude?
I haven't.
Well, darn it. I hate to say this, but nobody's got their hands raised. Darn it. Either you're doing a really good job or I'm really boring, one or the other.
Well, things happen for a reason, right?
Absolutely. Oh, there we go. Looky there. And I know who this is. Home Sasa, which is just up the road from Wacky Weed. Go ahead.
You'll get it right one of these days, Jerry. I hear you got Jay Keene on the phone again. Jay Keene and I talked this last week, and I mentioned to her that she's probably got one of the best web pages I've ever read. It's fantastic. But for us guys that don't know a whole lot about what you're talking about, could you put into a relationship herbicide, organic, and GMOs relative to your product? Can you understand?
I need to collect my thoughts.
Well, herbicide, organic, and GMOs. How does this product relate to each of those subjects?
First of all, the product is certified organic. It has been certified by the Organic Board as an organic product. So any organic operation, this product is lawful to use and maintain your organic status. Use in whatever area.
Yeah. So let me interject a little because I'm the one that actually, goes through all the rigmaroles to have it registered. So actually we're registered with Washington State Department of Agriculture under soil amendment in organic. And registering is different from being certified. They can use my product on their certified produce, let's say. So we're registered so that they can use our product for certifying as far as being organic. And what happens is, every person that is certified organic has to have a certifying agency, and that's who we will work with for you as well. And I think that's it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rick. Now you can answer the hard stuff.
Okay. Thank you for the interjection. Now, as far as herbicides was a question, correct?
Right.
As I explained earlier, the chemistry developed in the soil due to treatment of this product actually breaks apart the molecular bonds of the toxin in the herbicide and removes them from the soil and degrades them to where they cannot be analyzed any longer in the soil. It actually removes them. Some of those components actually volatilize in the air. So that's how it breaks them apart and eliminates any residual toxicity that may remain from them. Now, as far as GMOs, it's a little more complex issue because they actually supplement a bacteria along with the GMO product. And that affects the DNA structure in a way, but it also affects the soil chemistry. They make them compatible with glyphosates. So it's kind of a complex explanation chemically, but basically we find that the primary deterrent of GMOs is its propensity to develop toxic, what we call mycotoxin, which are fungal organisms, and they grow in the soil. So when you harvest that crop, you're actually inheriting some of those spores in the harvest. And when you store it, depending on the moisture level that it was harvested at, it will set up growth in the storage pile so that that fungal organism continues to grow, and these are very oxygen radical. They get into the system of the animal. They may attach in the lungs or in the digestive tract, but they attach to the tissue and actually enter cells in their need for oxygen and ultimately get into the bloodstream.
Let me ask you another question. In presenting this to a farmer somewhere, what results do you have in terms of being able to present the information you have to us this afternoon, and yet have him reject it? What's the percentage?
Of how many people we contact, how many people actually use the product on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, what's the percentage of denials after all this common sense is presented to him?
I think most of that, we see a real change. It depends on the need, the perceived need on the part of the producer. If he's experiencing challenges, generally he seeks us out. So in most cases, if they're actually coming to us over a perceived problem that they don't understand, and the explanation makes sense to them, they're more than willing to give it a try. And in every case where they've tried it, the product actually demonstrates solution. So a lot of times we don't hear any more unless they perceive to be the result, a change in the results from what they witnessed originally. If they may have done something to affect the chemistry in the soil and kill off the life in the soil again, then we have to go in, determine what they did, and then reapply.
Well, you don't need a problem when you can tell them how much more they can produce by the application of your product. I mean,
well,
just
sometimes that varies, because really what we're promoting is establishing the balance so that the soil produces what its optimum balance potential is. We aren't requiring that the soil expend itself and deplete its nutrients for the cost of production. That's what Monsanto is doing. They're expecting the soil to outproduce its capability. And it ends up killing the soil.
Well, let's take, for instance, another benefit, which is reduced water consumption. Now, they tell me that in the state of California, you have big almond groves, and for each almond, it takes gallons gallons of water produce. What kind of results can you get from a producer of almonds?
Well, I don't. Jacqueline, are you aware of any almond orchards that might be on it? Almond orchards. I spend a lot of time in California, and down there they call them almonds because they claim when they fall from the tree, it knocks the L out of them.
Well,
Do you have any producers of almonds on that you know of, Jacqueline?
Well, California is tricky because we haven't really had much production. People use it for production down there because of all of they're very strict on all their laws and the usage of anything. So, in the state of Washington, though, we've had some good results, but not with almonds as of yet.
Okay, I got one last question. Let's say somebody wants to go in as a distributor. From what I can tell this afternoon, he's got a lot of information to absorb. Have you got a sales training manual that describes the information you've given us this afternoon? Hello?
Boss lady?
Well, usually when we train someone, we have...
You're muffled. We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Usually when we train someone to be a distributor, they come to our manufacturing plant and we sit down. We don't have a specific sales manual. We have probably a binder's worth of information. We have people study and different articles to read about soils and so forth, depending on what level people are in as far as agronomy. That's what we would expect them to want to, be up to par or be able to talk to a farmer or a possible, be able to converse with people knowing the product. So we talked about it too.
When a distributor starts out, sometimes it requires quite a lot of communication back and forth, because as you approach a prospective customer, the individual needs that they have, sometimes we need to interact with them and help them explain. And once we can get the product into a situation where it does demonstrate its benefits, then both the customer and the dealer gain a respect for its ability in that area. Many times, we just need to make it available, determine the needs, try to address issues that we know it will cure, and once that is demonstrated, either through post-analysis, lab results, or something, then they develop a belief in what we're saying.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
How long have you guys been in business that would not account for you being so successful you don't need to do this anymore on the radio, for instance? What's the cause of you not being more productive in being able to sell this product? Because it sounds like to me it should be the easiest thing in the world to do, promote this product.
You want me to answer that, boss
Sure.
lady? You've got to understand, whenever you enter an industry, you'll find that the existing infrastructure or protocol or management that's adopted, in this case, traditional farming practice, controlled by fertilizer companies. They are in the business of selling bulk ingredients. We are in the process of maximizing efficiency, and we're delivering micro ingredients. It's counterproductive to what they perceive. So when existing producers do soil analysis, for example, they merely check NPK to determine how much fertilizer is needed from year to year. They don't realize that they're loading that soil and building up more and more unutilized nutrient that's affecting the overall life in the soil. and consequently elevating the pH. But as long as it produces and they get cost-efficient analysis and it's an affordable fertilizer amendment, this is the way they've been farming their whole life and the way their father farmed his whole life.
Sort of sounds like the American Medical Association, where they
You said that, I didn't.
where they prescribe vaccines for everything in the world.
Are you saying corporations control our existence?
Pretty much.
All righty, sir. Let's go on to our next caller.
Thanks, Jerry.
Pensacola. Come on down. 850.
Hi, Jerry.
How you doing?
Thanks for taking my call. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Redneck Radio.
Sounds like great to me. So I have a question for the gentleman. There was someone that had indicated he'd be interested in investing in your company. Are you looking for investors?
That's a question for Boss Lady.
Okay.
Well,
Can she answer
well, I can answer that definitely. Not so much investors, but what we want to do is establish a means to have a very state-of-the-art research facility, and that's where we would love people to be interested in seeing what seeing our vision to be able to research and be able to show, in normal terms of what other people are being able to prove or show, and we just don't have that right now. So that's what we're interested in.
Okay. In the future, will you be doing things where you might be looking for people that want to do, like a humanitarian type project where you guys might be helping to fix like things in Vietnam or something? Especially post-RV for some of us, I think we're looking for something that would really help the world and people and so on. Is that something that you'd be looking for, or maybe organize people that have interest in helping you do that?
Absolutely. I mean, that'd be great.
Okay. Well,
we are currently communicating with a number of trusts that are dedicated to true solution. And I would just welcome that as a prerequisite. We are not interested in supplying Band-Aids. We want to get to the bottom of the problem and heal things so that they can function the way they were created to function.
Okay. Jerry, are you going to keep doing calls post-RV for things like this where we can get involved and to hell with the people that are saying you're doing something wrong? They're idiots. So I just wondered, for the people that really want to do something, will you still be there?
I'm seriously considering it, as long as it doesn't get me in trouble.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, we hope that you will. And I just wish people that, I don't know what they are, but they need to go away.
Well, I probably will. I'm not going to say, yes, 100%, because we don't know what's going to go on. But I'm leaning towards it. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, there's an awful lot of us behind you. So thank you for all that you do. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. So let me see here.
Jerry, I just got a text right now from Subi saying he cannot get off this call and he apologizes.
Well, you know what? You send him a text back and tell him that then it's mandatory he is there tomorrow.
Okay, I can do that.
And that way he can just share, if he doesn't mind, just share a little of his experience about what's going on over in Iraq, and because tomorrow's kind of the intel call type deal.
Jerry,
do you think he'd be up? Do you think he'd be up for that?
I'm sure he would.
Yes, I'm sure he would. Yeah. I'll contact him when I'm off.
Okay. Yeah, because that's when the call fills up. Today, it's people, the only people on the call are the ones that want this information, and bless their hearts for showing up, and the ones that didn't, hopefully they'll listen to the replay. So I pretty well think that that's it for the day, and I want to thank everybody for calling in. I hope this, and I'm going to try to get that link up on my website here pretty soon for their website. So there you go. I think that's it for the day.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. Really appreciate your interest and concern for the people.
Well, this is for the improvement of this planet, and who wouldn't do something like this? Simple as that. I'm just glad that the good Lord put us together.
Amen.
We all eat. We all have needs for shelter. These are some of the things we're dedicated to.
Absolutely. And if you're sending emails to the wingitcall@gmail.com, don't worry, I'm getting to them. I've scaled back on how quick I get to things, and life has improved dramatically on my end, and I kind of like it. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. And as Wingman says, what's the last thing you hear? Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
The conference is now completed. Goodbye.